Yo, we checking out the addiction that destroyed Kanye West's life. I actually have no idea what it is, to be honest. We gonna check it out, see what's popping. That boy Kanye's supposed to drop an album with Ty Dolla $ign, bro. But I mean, the man was supposed to drop a single today, fam, but he did not drop it because apparently there are sampling issues. I don't know when this guy's gonna drop the album. He's been delaying it. You never know with this guy. I will never believe this guy drops an album until I see it. Until I'm 5 songs in, bro. I gotta be 5 songs in for me to believe it, because that man could take it off streaming platforms, for real. Anyways, let's check it out. And that man did issue an apology, but I don't know. It's gonna take more than just words, you know. We need to see action, but we'll see, man. I don't know. He be going on his rants, you know.
We all have bad habits, but most of us have the ability to control them. While for others, they end up warping their brains, affecting personal relationships, and occasionally skewing their thought process to the point of no return. Traditionally, addiction is characterized as a chronic, relapsing disorder brought upon by compulsive...
I mean, that's drug addiction. Oh, never mind. It is. Addiction is defined as... Okay.
Drug seeking,
I'm not gonna...
consumption,
I don't know no definitions. Exactly.
Of course, there are other ways to consume which may cause you to become dependent, and one rapper who knows this all too well is Kanye. As he said in various interviews, Ye's affinity for adult material dates back to when he was just 5 years old when he stumbled upon something of his father's.
Like, for me, Playboy was my gateway into full-on addiction. My dad had a Playboy left out at age 5, and it's affected almost...
I mean, I can see him, like, I didn't even know that, for real. I didn't even know he was addicted like that. I mean, but you could see it, like, when he'd be talking and stuff like that, or even in his songs, man.
Every choice I made for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I'm a youngin', so I really don't know.
Having made various crude references to that industry from his earliest music, Kanye's appetite eventually bled into the dating world too when he dated one of the most sought-after glamour models of the era. While stopping short at dating a literal adult performer, his decision to date Amber Rose took his life and his music into a newly liberated,
man dated Amber Rose, man had Kim Kardashian, bro.
Sexualized era. Having later claimed that he needed 30 showers.
Probably back then when he was a kid, bro, he's probably always, this is the dream, you know what I'm saying? Now he's got it. I don't know. It's kind of messed up his head.
His relationship
you get what I'm
with Amber,
saying?
alongside the fallout from the infamous Taylor Swift VMAs moment, would be funneled into his work, resulting in the masterpiece we know today.
Yeah, you see the album covers. Look at My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, bro.
My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, an album which featured his most outlandish descriptions of sexual escapades to date.
Yeah.
Things came to a head on tracks like Monster, Runaway, Blame Game, and of course, Hell of a Life. On the latter, it's often suggested that he foretold his future marriage to Kim Kardashian, spitting, "One day I'm gonna marry a star. We'll have a big crib and a long yard. We'll have a mansion and some fly maids. Nothing to hide, we both screwed the bridesmaids." But before that prophecy was fulfilled, one of the collaborators on that project exposed his creative process and the deals which took her aback. Featured on 2 tracks on the album, including her career-defining verse on Monster, Nicki Minaj discussed what it was like to work with Ye. "I thought that he wouldn't want girls to be dressed overtly sexy, and I go into the studio and he had nothing but pictures of naked women on his computer that he'd invite me to look at. They were really artsy pictures, but you know, he loves, so it was a complete shock to me, because I thought I had him figured all out."
You can't figure out him, but isn't it crazy, like, some of the most creative people in the world, like, when you look at them, like, they're just weird, bro, but that's what makes them creative. That's why they have these innovative type of ideas.
When we were in the studio, no shame in his game. Enabled by his megastar status, Ye's affinity for adult content was now accepted as just a part of his process, and may have contributed to his infatuation with the woman who's behind the most famous...
Like, it created his success, but it's still a problem that he needs to deal with.
Together, this seemed like a point of pride for Ye, and on Click, he even made it part of his mythology, rapping, "Break records at Louis, ate breakfast at Gucci, my girl a superstar, all from a home movie." Over time, they went from a run-of-the-mill celebrity fling to a relationship that resulted in 4 kids. But, as he revealed on Jimmy Kimmel, his fatherhood wasn't enough to stop his addiction.
Do you feel like your attitude towards women has changed since having daughters?
No.
Nah, I still look at
Yeah. Yeah.
What kind of stuff do you look at? What categories?
Black is my favorite category. What's the point of being Kanye West if you can't?
In fact, he didn't even treat monogamy with any degree of seriousness. And while on the St. Pablo tour, he boasted about infidelity. It was no secret among those who worked closely with Ye that he cheated after Saint was born, revealed one insider. On his St. Pablo tour, he was flipping out in front of his team, confessing to sleeping with girls behind Kim.
Oh shit, I don't be into the drama stuff. I don't really care about this stuff, but I didn't know this.
He even said he'd been groupies and went into insane detail about his sessions.
And plus, when this album came out, bro, I was in like grade 5, bro.
His language
I'm a
was
youngin',
unreal.
you feel me?
Those who knew him well, they were sitting heads in hands and laughing nervously, while crew members who had just joined the tour were left stunned. At this point in his life, Ye's obsession with sex had arguably
Oh,
become more
yeah, you
juvenile
gotta look
than
at the
ever.
Life of Pablo
Trust bars
cover.
from The Life of Pablo that
Now
even
with
made the most
Pablo, this
desensitized fan
model,
pause for a
and she
second.
did
The famous
her
video, which
eye.
featured figures like
The
Taylor
famous
Swift,
music video,
Kanye,
yeah.
George Bush, Trump, and Bill Cosby, had placed his obsession front and center. But bizarrely, it was also around this time that he became most modest about Kim's sexuality. Yeah, it does bother him. It's like half and half, she told Ellen of Kanye's response when she posed for Paper Magazine. He always wants me to be me and feel confident, and we're having fun, but it also bothers him. Still, as Kanye continued to live out his wildest fantasies in public view, he would reach a point of sordidness where he was even designing the set for the award ceremony for the biggest adult site on the internet. Upon reflection, he sees 2018, which is the same year that he began to alienate half of his fan base with his support of Trump, as the year his addiction finally began to have real ramifications for his life. Following the release of Ye, Kanye dropped 2 of the most sexually overt tracks in his entire catalog. First, there was Ecstasy, where he embraced all of his most debased impulses, no matter how the real people in his life might have felt about it. You got sick thoughts, I got more of them. You got a sister-in-law you smash, I got 4.
Yo.
Damn, those is your sisters. You did something unholy to them pictures. Damn, you need to be locked up. Nah, we need
Nah,
to
you
make
tell
a
me this guy beat his meat to them pictures, fam?
hot tub. Then you had I Love It with Lil Pump.
Oh
Debuting
my
at
god, I remember when this dropped, bro. This was so unexpected when Lil Pump was actually at the top of the trap game,
the
bro.
Pub Awards. The track was
Man was
about
fresh
as
off
forthright
Gucci
about
Gang
his
and all
love
that.
of all things explicit as it could get. And in hindsight, he saw it as a turning point in his life, and not for the better.
I got to a point where I was always letting that Playboy magazine that I found when I was 5 years old have an effect on my music. It couldn't never be 100% everything it could be, because I had to add that in always. And it got to the point where literally I went from Jesus Walks to You're Such a I Love It. This fit right in with everything we got to deal with opioids. This fit right in with everything we got that promotes killing so that we can have more slaves in the mass incarceration.
Why did you make it?
Because I was asleep. Because I was drowned. Because I was lost.
Having later described the track as a product of being lost, its release corresponded with a time where his marriage was on the rocks. In 2020, they revealed that they were speaking with an intimacy specialist, with an insider claiming that the therapist is giving them suggestions to put the sizzle back in their sex life. They tried counseling a couple of years ago, and it essentially saved their marriage. They're hoping lightning can strike twice.
When I was in my lowest points, God was there with me and sending me visions and inspiring me. And I remember sitting in the hospital at UCLA after having a mental breakdown, and there's documentations of me drawing a church and start a church in the middle of Calabasas.
Soon, Kanye was abandoning secular music entirely, channeling his energy into spreading the gospel
Man
through
dropped
his
gospel
very own
music.
Sunday
Man
service.
dropped Jesus the King.
Along the way to promoting his new album, Jesus is King, most of his promo runs saw him discuss the difficulties he'd faced in trying to combat what had called out to him. Some people drown themselves in drugs, he said, and I drown myself in my addiction, sex.
Yeah.
God was patient, and my family was patient for me when they were praying for me.
I feel like some people, like, they'll make fun of this. They'll be like, nah, that's not an addiction, because, like, it's not really talked about really in real life. They're usually, the usual addictions are like smoking and drinking, but you gotta take, any of this stuff could be addiction, bro. This could be an addiction, I don't know, maybe video games, but anything can be, bro. You just don't understand until you're really in that situation. It's not just the bad stuff, the smoking, the drugs and all that.
When they saw me at the awards, they couldn't tell me not to do it.
Oh,
All they
shoot,
could
this guy
do
was at the
when they
what?
saw me
This guy was at the P-Hub Awards?
They couldn't tell me not to do it. All they could do
I didn't even know
was
that. How did I not know
be
that?
patient, and it had to happen in God's time. So for me, when I have people around who I would like them to be where I'm at in my journey,
I didn't even know they had an award show, first of all.
all I could do is pray and be patient, because it's going to only be in God's time.
Transforming from a man who reveled in lust to a deeply religious man, Kanye spoke at length about the extreme way he tried to keep his religious purity.
This is going to be radical. There's times where I was asking people to not have premarital sex while they were working on the album.
Despite only making gospel from here on out and pledging to live a pious life, it wasn't enough to save his marriage.
That's crazy. How did the paparazzi catch that, bro? They'd be following them around.
Follow-up record, Donda, he discussed how his unfaithful
Like, they'd be
behavior
camping outside the house, bro. As soon as the car leaves, they're chasing that out.
led to its demise on Hurricane, rapping, "Here I go acting too rich, here I go with a new chick, and I know what the truth is. Still playing after 2 kids. It's a lot to digest when your
Your
life's
life always
always moving.
moving.
Having previously celebrated what he now saw as immoral, Kanye has since gone the other way and continued to place holiness at the forefront of his output. His views on the very material that he used to covet got increasingly extremist. In fact, he said it was to blame for everything that's gone awry in his life.
This addiction since I was 5 years old that has destroyed my mom and my dad's family, that destroyed my family. When I take full accountability for the destruction of my marriage, I'll point at the liberals and say, you took my wife from me. You know what took my wife from me? The fact that I was married to this beautiful person, but I felt like it wasn't enough. I felt like I still needed to look at in some way. I'd say to her, well, stop making these images, stop breaking the internet.
So alarmed by exposing his kids to inappropriate content that he didn't want them on TikTok, Ye sought to protect those around him from what he saw as the evil that destroyed his world. But at the same time, in the depths of his despair, he relapsed.
Since I lost my wife, since I lost my family, and I was no longer the priest right in the middle of that home, I let the devil pull me in. Next thing you know, I'm at New Year's Eve parties having threesomes.
But
Damn.
while Ye might have since tried to conquer his addiction, his over-reliance on the past was about to come back and bite him. With footage emerging of him showing X-rated material to executives during negotiations over his contract, it's clear that his
Yo.
addiction has tightened its grip around him again. He
He
shows
just
in
keeps
the video
coming
of
back, bro.
Francesca Lee,
He doesn't have the
Buffalo's
discipline, man.
former collaborator.
Someone needs to help him, man. He needs, I don't know, he needs someone in his corner to stop him.
Rolling Stone. He's like, what do you think of it? Not laughing at all. He would be in a meeting and he'd be talking to you, and he'd rattle off in his laptop to play a mature video, another employee said. He's like, I know it's uncomfortable, but I kind of need this in the background to keep me focused. From admitting that he bootlegged only on Reddit.
Yo, it's low-key, like, think about it, it's low-key, like, when rappers smoke weed, or, like, when hoopers, they smoke weed, and then they play absolutely nice, man. I mean, it's just his way.
Despite
If you really
being a
think about
billionaire,
it, bro.
To announcing in November
What
2020,
did Ruby Rose say?
admitting that he bootlegged only on Reddit despite
We
being
find
a
out
billionaire,
Kanye watching
to
me on
announcing in
Reddit, bro.
November 2022
Come
that
on,
he
ain't nobody
joined on a
paying for
30-day
that. Except for that one
collab.
guy. I seen that one guy pay 40K, but come on, man. We on Reddit.
It still hasn't prevented him from reverting back to
I'm not
his old
talking
way.
to nobody for a month. I'm taking a 30-day cleanse. Where did he post that?
His 46th birthday party in June 2023, he served sushi with women's bodies being used as serving platters. Meanwhile, he's engaged in no shortage of PDA with his new wife, while arguably inspiring some of his most compelling output in the My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and Life of Pablo eras. It's clear that those images he saw as a kid are implanted in Ye's brain and aren't going anywhere. The real question is that as he considers a comeback, will he be able to douse the flames and keep himself on an even keel with his addiction, or allow it to wreak havoc once more? I guess we'll have to wait and see.
If I'm being honest, I don't see him breaking his addiction, bro. He's been having it for like 30 years at this point. Yeah, he gotta have someone in his corner to stop him, but he clearly doesn't have that. He'd be on his solo thing. As you see him doing his rants, he needs someone. He doesn't have that person. I don't see it ending.